Do you think that they have done enough to this point in time that they should stop and wait? It speaks to the when and the how much of another rate hike and if and when that happens. Have they done enough? Should they let it go through the system like some suggest they should?
So from my vantage point, absolutely not. Like, we should continue on the path that we're on to ensure that we re-anchor inflation expectations. There's a psychological component to inflation that we need to make sure that our country doesn't start to assume that we should expect 5 or 6 or 7% inflation, because once you expect it broadly enough, it becomes reality. It becomes the table stakes in wage negotiations, for example. So it's important that we don't let inflation expectations become unanchored. But I will tell you, I think that the Fed has another challenge, which is, if Stan Druckenmiller's right, let's just stipulate he is, and we go into a deep recession late next year, then we're going to have had millions of Americans unemployed back to back twice in a 3 and change year period. And from the perspective of our nation, the loss of human capital that implies is devastating. To be unemployed twice in such a short period of time, the diminution of job skills, career experience, derailment to future aspirations, a belief that the American dream is not achievable, those cultural and tangible impacts are really devastating. So for choice, if I am the Fed, I want to try to bring inflation expectations down, but I don't want to create a hard landing because of the cost in human capital.
Do you think that they can actually control that?
No, I think that's a really difficult dance they're trying to do right now. But you're dealing with very lagged effects. You raise rates today, it impacts very small sectors of the economy very sharply. The follow-on knock-on effects will take 6 to 12 months to play out. It's a really difficult job they have.
Stan, aside from suggesting that there was going to be a hard landing at some point next year, suggested you could have something much worse than that. Do you think we could?
I mean, it's possible. It's always, here's the problem with economics, and I spent 3 years of my life pulling my hair out at Harvard studying economics. There is no answer. There's just distributions. There's just what may happen. And of course, there's some distribution that says we're going to go into a significant recession or depression. Asset price, I can give you that story. I can give you that really bearish story. I'm not sure it serves much purpose. One should always think about that in terms of their portfolio allocation. Can I endure the losses in my portfolio that would go with a severe recession or depression? I should be aware of that possibility. But you want to think about managing your portfolio over your life and over your ability to sustain your risk positions over the journey of your life. In other words, you don't want to own so many equities that when the inevitable recession happens, you're forced to sell at the bottom. That's a much more important concept for investors to understand and to focus on than trying to prognosticate as to when the next recession is going to happen.